Cool, we're here with Crash and Burn Racing, and today we're taking a look at the iRX-IR8M made by iRangeX. And what sets this apart, besides its shape here, is that it is a 8-channel multi-protocol transmitter, so you should be able to bind this up to pretty much anything that you have. In the box we have our Allen key, which is used to adjust the top turn dials, and here's the receiver it comes with, and our USB cable. First off, let's address the size. If you were hoping this was going to be a Turnigy Evolution size controller, you're going to be very, very disappointed. Next to a PlayStation controller here, you can see that this thing is just far bigger. And if we measure the gimbals here and how far apart they are, our gimbals are about 142 centimeters apart. And if we compare that to something like the DX6 here, the gimbals on here are about 110 centimeters, or excuse me, 110 millimeters apart. So this thing is quite wide. Build quality wise, the plastic doesn't feel the greatest. It's not going to feel heavy at all really without a battery in it. And speaking of battery, let's take a look at the box here. And it comes set up for 4 AA's. Take the tray out. Our battery compartment size here, you can fit a 60 millimeter wide by 55 millimeter tall by 18 millimeter deep battery. It does have soft rubber grips on the back here, so that is nice. Looking on the side here, you'll find a mini USB port. Ha! Man, I thought these things should have died off about 4 years ago. That's kind of disappointing. Definitely should be a micro USB, but I guess it'll work. Now over here is your on and off button, and it also does not feel the greatest. Just a close up here on the gaps for the build quality. The buttons seem all fairly clicky, although, like I said, with the other ones, they don't feel the greatest, but they definitely feel like they're going to work. The gimbals, on the other hand, yeah. So I'm not going to lie, these gimbals feel pretty bad. I know they're advertised as being 4 ball bearing and whatever, but I honestly, oh man, look at that. That is so bad. But man, I was really expecting more for a $90 radio. With the QX7 only being about a $100 radio, I would have thought these gimbals would be pretty comparable to that, but the gimbals on the QX7 seem way better than these ones. And for the right gimbal here, you can see that what kind of quality this is. And one thing to point out, I did manage to lose a switch here in shipping, so that's disappointing, but I'll email Banggood and see what they say about that. Now with the 6 screws removed, we can take off the back and take a look what's in. Alright, so taking a look and seeing what we've got in here, you can see this is our module here, which is able to put out all those protocols, and the antenna wire is right here, and it's just going to somewhere. Looks like this module wire is just running right inside right here, so it's not going through the handle like some people thought, or to this piece right here. And upon further inspection, you'll see this friction bar right here where you can adjust how stiff your stick moves. And if you go over to this side, you see that it does not have one. Now, is this supposed to have one? I would imagine so. It'd probably explain why this stick feels like crap and why it's stiff on the top more than the bottom. So, wow. That's pretty bad if you can't even get one of these in here. So that gives me some serious doubts about this radio. But other than that, the components actually seem like they're put together well. Not speaking on how well the components are made, but cleanliness wise, they did do a fairly nice job of putting this together. Another thing to add is that if you're one of those crazy people who likes a detent on their throttle, this will not be able to please you, as there's no way to enable that. And as I'm making this video, this switch here just decided to pop out. Now, I've broken these off before on other radios, and this is a new one for me. I'm gonna try to get this back in. Alright, so I tried to get it back in, but it's just not happening. So let's talk about ergonomics. Compared to a regular controller, thumbing this is maybe a little bit more comfortable just because you have a little bit shorter distance here to put your fingers on top for the switches. But other than that, it honestly doesn't really feel that much different. And if you're a pincher, these top switches right here will basically get in the way and you will not be able to do that. Now let's power the transmitter. We've got our throttle up to about 50% and we'll see if we get our warning. And it is actually detecting it, so we'll put it back down. Now it goes into it. Now this thing is running Deviation Software, and if you're not familiar with what that is, it basically means it can connect to pretty much any receiver out there, as well as many other bind and flies, such as toys, JJRC, and Horizon/Blade products. Now the menus will be your typical Deviation setup, so we'll see if we can get into them here. Here you have your model menu, and setup, mixers, timers, it has all that great stuff. I'm not going to get too much into the software side because there's many videos out there that can actually show you how to use it much better than I can. However, we're going to see if we can bind it with something here. And to bind it, I am going to test out this little guy. It's a JJRC H20 hexacopter. And this will give you an idea of what you can really do with this software. Now to bind with our JJRC H20 here, I went to the website, which is deviationtx.com, and looked it up and found out what I needed to set it to. So we'll go in here into model menu and do model setup. And here we're going to change this to H8-3D. Alright, H8-3D is now selected. So we're going to go to the next one, into there, and we're going to select our model. Now I have H20 selected, and we're going to back out here, go over to reinitialize, hit that, and now it appears that we are bound up. Now that you've seen model menu, let's go down to transmitter menu, take a quick look through there. Here you can see your transmitter configuration, telemetry monitor, channel monitor. Going to channel monitor, you can, whoa, we're still bound up. Hold on a second. Going into a mixer output here, you can see your travel of your gimbals, and you can see how, oh, actually that one, so the yaw actually goes to 0. The roll, as you can see, is absolutely terrible because it doesn't want to go back to 0, -6. Channel 2 is also terrible. Well, at least the throttle goes up from 100 to -100, so that's good. Now let's go up into transmitter config, take a quick look. Here we've got your languages, change your mode, calibrate the sticks, which isn't going to do much good if they can't go back to 0. Got your buzz volume, audio volume, vibration. Yeah, it's vibration, that's actually nice. Battery alarm, your alarm intervals, backlight. Let's go up to backlight real quick and play with that. Yeah, it's nice and bright. I really like that actually, so it's nice. Something else I came across I want to share is that the off and on and off switch here is, for me, it's quite finicky. See, now I turned it off, turn it back on, not on, back to off, back to on, off, on. Yeah, I don't know what's going on here, but this on-off switch seems to be faulty also. So the main selling point of this transmitter is it having the multi-protocol functionality. Now that actually does seem to work well with it, and unfortunately just the rest of the transmitter just really fails to live up to what its capabilities are. Deviation is huge. There's so much you can do with it. You can change switches and channels and all this crazy stuff, and as you can see, you can bind it to pretty much whatever you want, and that would have been just absolutely amazing to have in this transmitter if it actually worked. If multi-protocol functionality is something you want, I would definitely look at the T8SG made by Jumper as an alternative to this. But if there's something I didn't cover and you have a question on it, post them in the comments below and I'll do my best to answer it. I am Corey with Crash and Burn Racing, and thank you for watching.